is it you do?
I'm freelance photographer.
Groovy. What do you shoot?
Mainly people.
Like portraits?
Yeah.
Oh, yo. So, we're gonna keep it a buck. And we're gonna have a conversation, or I'm gonna have a conversation. And I want y'all to give me some good feedback too, man. I'm starting to feel like YouTube influencers they are costing people a lot. So the topic of today is gonna be about what you see right here in front of you, that three-headed monster right there. It's a lot of coins sitting right there, man. And I ain't robbed nobody, I don't sell no dope, but I do produce dope work because of that three-headed monster right there. So the topic of the day is, does kit make a difference? Will it or won't it make you a better photographer at the end of the day? My simple answer, I don't know. It's a yes, but it could be a no. And let me explain and expound on what I mean by that. But first, let me introduce y'all to the three-headed monster. We got the Q2 monochrome, we got the M11, and we got the M11 monochrome, right? They all serve their purpose, and I all use them uniquely depending on what it is I'm going for and what the client wants or what I'm doing. If you talk about an EDC, an everyday carry camera, the Q2 will do it. The M11, both M11s will do it, but you got to be pretty quick with the focus because they're both manual focus. This one has a little bit of autofocus with the Q2. Let me start you back to the beginning of where I started. So I started in 2020 when I retired out of the Army. I needed a way to be creative and do some stuff and get out the house for a little bit. So I went out and I bought a little Canon 80D. For most hobbyists, most people that are pursuing this, that camera will still get the job done. It just didn't do it for me. And let me explain to you why. I am 6'1", black, dreads, 200 and something pounds, and I was in Belgium. I can't walk around trying to take street photography shots and out bruise the scene. I was shooting up the scene. If you own or have owned a DSLR with that mirror that's in there slapping around every single time you take a picture, you can hear it. There is no electronic shutter on that camera. You can hear it just firing off, right? And a buddy of mine was like, bro, how you do, you need to invest in a not a DSLR, a mirrorless camera. So I already had a Canon, so I'm familiar with the menus, familiar with the system. So I went out and I got a Canon R6. And then I went and got a little Pancake Nifty 50, and then evolved into a 85 millimeter. So I ended up with the whole gas syndrome, the gear acquisition syndrome. Definitely ended up with that. And then I matured and I said, you know what, portrait photography is what I want to do. And so when we moved back from Belgium, moved back to Texas, I pursued portrait photography as a full-time thing. And when I would get home, I had a memory card full of damn images. Because to me, my opinion, please don't just take it as my opinion, please. You can take a new age mirrorless camera and you can't miss. Because the autofocus, the eye autofocus, it locks on, even though I've had hell with it right now filming this video because this little light on the microphone is making the camera think that that's an eye and it's locking on to that and then the whole video is out of focus. I'm not in focus. So after I figured that out, I had to go change glasses because it was catching hell with the tint and the reflection off my other glasses. So anyway, the RS system, not the RS, the R6 system is beautiful. But for my brain, having ADHD, I like simple, and I use it now for videography, for these videos. Or if I have faster paced work that I'm doing for a client. I don't use it for my personal work unless it's faster moving subjects and I need that autofocus. So I matured into the Q2, because at the time, before I decided I wanted to lock in on portraits, I was still roaming the streets of El Paso doing the street photography thing. And I love that system. The fixed 28 Summilux, they almost say that you're buying the lens and you're getting the camera body for free based on the price of the Q2 and the price of the Summilux by itself. And it's a fixed Summilux, you can't take it off. And then when I told myself I wanted to do portraits, I knew that a 28 was not gonna get it done, simply for the fact that with a 28, there's a lot of distortion, especially when you get out towards the edges of the frame. Because anybody that knows 28 and wide angle lenses when it comes to portraiture, anything close to the lens is gonna get distorted. It's gonna be huge compared to the rest of the body or the rest of whatever you're shooting. And so I knew that system wasn't gonna cut it when it came to portraiture. So I went out and got the M11. Love the M11. Love it. The only problem with that camera was, and you thinking, man, for the price of that camera, how can it have issues? It had issues for me. The issue I had was I did not like converting color files to monochrome files. This is as techie as I may ever get. I don't know. Somebody please drop me a comment and just say, bro, it wasn't just you. Every time I would convert a color image to a black and white image, it always seemed to my eye that there was a little hint of color in the image still. No matter what I did, it slide all the sliders to no color, hit the black and white button, go in the color grade little module, turn off all those color, and it still looked like there was still color in that image. I don't know. Because from what I have researched, there is a bare filter. Every camera on the market is a color or is a black and white camera until they put a bare filter over the top of the sensor. What that bare filter does, it now translates and it starts to see color. So a black and white image spits out, hits the bare filter, you get color, right? From what I understand. So it always seemed like color was left in my images, and I hated it when I was doing post-processing. So I said, you know what? Love the camera, but I don't want to deal with that. So I went out and I got the M11 monochrome. Problem solved. Problem solved. I don't have to worry about the fact that I got to turn off color for one. That was always a step in the process, turning off color. Then two, that little thing of, damn, that's a dope ass color image. Never crossed my mind no more, right? I didn't have to worry about that no more. So, back to my original conversation. Do these make you better? Absolutely not. No, they don't. For a few reasons of my own. I feel like if you are a shitty photographer, you don't understand light, you don't understand composition, you don't know the triangle when it comes to the ISO, shutter speed, and your aperture. It ain't gonna help you. It's not gonna help you. It's not. Don't let these influencers on YouTube come out here and market you to death, making you feel like these cameras are gonna fix all your woes in photography. They will not. If you still got something to learn, you still gonna have, you're still gonna have something to learn with these systems, period. And these systems may even expose that you got shit to learn. They will. Why? Because one, the M11 monochrome and the M11 are both manual focus. There is no autofocus. There isn't. So you gotta be real quick or real decisive with your moments if you're using it for street photography, because you will miss a moment. If you don't know how to zone focus and you really wanna lock in on something, especially at 1.8 or whatever the highest aperture that you got on your lens, if you don't lock in on it perfectly, especially with a rangefinder system, we're trying to match those two images up, you're gonna have a miserable time. So with that, that's why I knew that these systems were perfect for what I do, which is portrait photography. My subject ain't really moving. And even when they are, I educate them, hey, I need you to make sure you stay on the same plane. You can go side to side, but be real slow about your frontal and backward plane movements, because that means I gotta keep hunting and finding you to catch focus. That's why I went to those systems, because it slowed me down. I was very meticulous. I ended up at the end of the day with less files I had to go through. And let's talk about the files. The files are huge, huge. I know people are talking about, and I did realize and picked up on it early that, so I can attest to the fact that straight out of camera, if you don't go in and tweak a couple things with boosting your contrast and lowering your highlights, the images coming out of these systems, especially the monochrome systems, are flat. There's not a lot to them. But I think Leica did it on purpose. They're smart people. I'm pretty sure they knew that those images were flat for black and white photography. But because the file sizes are so huge, it gives you a lot of latitude and creativity to make them look the way you want them to look. The only thing that you can't do with a monochrome system, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that too, don't lose your highlights, because you're not getting them back. You're not getting them back, they're gone. And that's easy to do. That's easy to do on a monochrome system, because all the camera sees is light. So if too much light is hitting that sensor, that data is not gonna show up. You're gonna lose all that data in your highlights. So that information is tough to get back. So if you don't know how to use the system, it's not gonna make you a better photographer, it's just gonna expose you. It's gonna expose you, and expose you in a bad way. And you're gonna come back, you're gonna be frustrated, you're gonna feel like the system ain't this, the system ain't that, it ain't, the system is you. Your learning curve. Fix you, and then these systems will work perfectly for you. But from a guy that only got 38, 39 followers, I ain't got nothing I'm not gaining a dime off of this. I'm not sponsored, I ain't none of that. So you getting the real nitty gritty from me, right? You're gonna get the lowdown, the dirty, the this, or that. So let's talk about a couple things that most people, if you shoot a Leica, it will lock up on you. Unfortunately, it will. Now you're asking me, Stu, for as much as you done paid for these cameras, and they locking up? Yeah, they lock up. They lock up. But I'm willing to deal with it. Why am I willing to deal with it? I'm gonna put it to you like this. You got a dime piece of a spouse, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, whatever. They're 10. Cook, clean, massage, do all this, do all that for you, whatever the case may be, just the perfect person for you. But they got that one little thing that you just do not like. They leave hair in the scene. They clip their toenails and they leave the clippers on the floor. They chew with their mouth open, or whatever that little thing is that just get under your skin. You don't leave them. You deal with it, right? Because that's just one little thing that you just don't like, and you willing to accept it and deal with it. And that's how it is with these systems with me. I know they're gonna lock up every once in a while, but it's just the way they get it, because there's no more bottom plate. I never had one with a bottom plate, but from what I'm hearing, in order to drop the battery when there was a bottom plate, you had to unscrew it, drop the battery, pop it back in, but you don't have that bottom plate no more, so you hit the low lever, the battery halfway drop, you pop it back in, you back to rocking and rolling. If you get proficient enough, your client won't even know you skipped a beat. They won't know you skipped a beat. But I will say that they do help you as well, because the images that come out of these cameras are just so beautiful. The tones, the colors if you shoot in color, the fact that there's not a lot of buttons to deal with, right? The Canon, you can sometimes get a little lost with what button you got your finger on, especially if you're trying to learn it. You got your back button focus, you got this, you got that, and then some of the lenses got you can customize the ring to be exposure, it could be your aperture, it can be whatever you want it to be, but you can customize it. And to me, that's too much brain power thinking about everything other than the photo. With me, with these systems, before my client, model, whoever shows up, I've already had a talk and a conversation with my camera. All right, we ain't gonna do all that locking up shit today. All right, we good? Cool. All right, next, let's go ahead and dial in this ISO with the environment and the amount of light that I got. Let's go ahead and, and play around with shutter speed, take a couple test shots to make sure it's where I want it to be, and then we rocking and rolling. That way, when the models show up, all I gotta do is produce. Because I know exactly where I want them to stand based on the fact that I know I like low-key work. I like dark and moody, right? So the clients that come to me know that's my look, they know that's my jam. We good, they enjoy it, I enjoy it. So I don't have to really be messing around with a lot of stuff unless the light changes, right? I use window light, I'm a natural light guy. I don't have a lot of kit. I show up with my camera slung over my shoulder. I may have a 28 on me just in case we get in some closer quarters type shooting, or I want to play around with I want to get more of the environment in the shot, or I could easily just back up with the 50, right? So it's a very simple thing to make sure that everything is good to go, and I make sure I have little kit, easy to deal with. If you're familiar with the Leica systems, there's not a lot of buttons, which works for me. It may not work for everybody else. Some people want all this other stuff, and the Q2 is the only one up here that does video. But the quality of the video is dope because it's a high megapixel camera, but the sound is shit because there's no ports and the internal speakers sound horrible, just like the internal speakers on the Canon is horrible, and I gotta have a mic set up. So this system is not for a videographer anyway, right? To me, video on this camera is last resort. Oh shit, it's a great moment going on with my kids, family, or out in the street, wherever you at, you just want to capture that. But it's not cinematic grade sound, and no, you're not getting that. That's not why you buy that camera anyway. So I don't know why people even came on YouTube making videos complaining about the shit. You bought a Q2 for a video? Stop it. You just want to find something to complain about. But when it comes to the kit, I just want y'all to understand, it ain't about that. Buy the camera that you love to go out and produce, play, explore, whatever. That's the best camera for you. If you enjoy taking it with you everywhere, pulling it out, making work, that's the camera you need. Because a better camera is not gonna make you a better photographer. And let me be the first to tell you, if you're not satisfied with what you got in 6 months when they launch, or a year when they launch, that something else is coming out, you're gonna go buy that too. You are. But I'm content right here. I'm content right here. I have been a professional photographer for about a year, right? And I'm content for a long time right here. Trust me, I'm good. Unless, the only thing I may look at is a different lens. I may look at a 35 or a 90, but looking at the price tag of those, I'm good. I'm good. I can just zoom in and out with my feet until I get my money right, you know what I mean? So, don't let YouTube fool you, man. As soon as they say something about this is sponsored by, or somebody sent me this to test, you already know that no matter what they say, that opinion is no longer unbiased. Because they're getting paid, man. They're getting paid. And I don't know why they on here trying to fool people. They ain't fooling me. As soon as you say you sponsored by it, I know they cutting you a check to say, because it's advertising for them. They spend a little bit of advertising dollars for an influencer versus TV advertisement, which is a hell of a lot more expensive. So I don't know why they come on there with that disingenuous ass shit. I don't get it. But that's just how people are, and that's just where YouTube is. Right now I got 39. I may have 40 by the end of the night or tomorrow morning when I wake up as far as followers. So I'm a nobody. I'm a blip on everybody's radar. But Leica, hey, hear me out. Hear me out. I'll test some shit for you. I'll test it. But hit me up if you want a very real, raw, true, hands-on review about the product that you sell. If you're not willing to hear that it's up or wide the hip or it's great, like, send me something that you don't, if you want a real raw and honest opinion about it, man. Don't be in your feelings. Don't be in your feelings. I'm gonna let you know, like, yo, this is dope. Or nah, y'all missed it. Because with me, I'm in the desert. So I need something that can take a licking and keep on ticking, man. I can't have a lot of plastic systems. You know, I'm laying down, I'm standing up, I may bumping on something, I'm just in rough terrain all the time, being a natural light photographer. I don't shoot in the studio very often, and when I do, it's in the house. So I don't really need, I need something very durable, because I can be a little rough on some stuff, bumping into stuff and drop it or whatever the case may be. Even though I refuse to sit here and tell myself I'm gonna drop this camera. So I make sure that the straps are durable and premium. Can't use the Temu straps and risk dropping a camera at the value that these are set at. So it's just, you gotta make sure as a photographer that the kit that you use, that you not believing that kit is gonna fix your educational woes of photography. There's a learning curve. Don't try to shortcut that curve by thinking that equipment is gonna get you there faster. Experience, time behind the lens, exploration, creativity, playing around, getting on YouTube, picking up good photo books, podcasts, good YouTubers that ain't trying to sell you shit. Like, that's what's gonna get you to where you wanna be. Find you a good YouTuber that you drive with, you understand, and that's who you watch, study, take the good, leave the bad, let them have that, because everything ain't for everybody. Because some of these dudes that have you out here thinking that film is the way to go, or medium format is the way to go. But if that's not what you like to do, don't do it. Leave it. Take some of the other stuff that they're doing. The way they use natural light. I watch photographers that use natural light, right? Because that's what I use. I'm not a studio flash and strobe and softbox and this and that photographer. So watching those guys won't really do much, but I take that back. There's one, Peter Colson. I watch you, I fuck with you. I fuck with him. That dude dope. Based out of Australia. He does a lot of muse work, editorial work, fashion. work, but I love the way he educates his models. That's what I love more than anything else. And I love his low-key work. He shoots primarily black and white, just like me. So I know he's shooting studio, but based on the way he shoots studio, I try to go out and emulate that with natural light to produce the same kind of look to see if I can do it. So Peter Colson, if you see this, bro, I dope work. But I'm gonna wrap this up. But at the end of the day, the jury is out. If equipment makes you better, it could be a handicap. It could hinder you because you're leaning so much on the equipment that you're not learning as a photographer. That's why I kind of feel like the autofocus was doing for me. For me, some people love that snappy autofocus for the work that they do. If you're doing sports, you're doing a lot of fast action, fast moving stuff, cars, F1 racing, all that kind of stuff, fighter planes, all that, then yeah, you definitely gonna need some sticky autofocus. But for what I do, I don't need it. And if I do feel like that the work that I'm getting ready to do needs it, I'll pull out the Canon, but I'm taking one of these Leicas with me. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe that. So I'm gonna leave this video right here. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, all that other cliche, niche, weird that YouTubers say that but follow the journey. I'm only at like 38, 39, maybe 40 by the end of the night or whatever the case may be. Follow the journey, man. I'm a real dude, real photographer out here grinding. I ain't got a lot of sponsors and followings and all that stuff, but I think those are the people that's grassroots and is gonna keep it a buck with you. So if you fuck with this video, man, like it, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Grumpy Vet Photography, and let's book it, man.